been starved out.
And this ain't a surrender either.
Even though Mohawk warriors would face prosecution for obstructing justice and firearms violations, they had won something of a victory. The Canadian government had decided to buy the disputed land and turn it over to the Indians. Still, the confrontations were far from over. After the army left Ganawage, the Sûreté de Québec and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police continued to patrol the highways that cut through the reservation. People from the community complained of being harassed by police and set up checkpoints around the reservation to monitor traffic. Nancy Wanchen is a Chippewa Indian from northern Michigan. She supports the Mohawk cause and has worked at one of the checkpoints. At a press conference, Wanchen claimed that she was beaten by officers of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
I was taken into an SQ station and beaten by the RCMP. I was hit with a stick and knocked down and told to get back up, and then hit with the stick and knocked down again. I had my arms twisted behind my back. Since then, I've had 2 fainting spells that for no reason. But my incident is not all that uncommon. People are being beaten here, and for unprovoked reasons. And I think that people on the outside need to know about this. Everybody keeps hearing that it's all over, but it's not over.
This is nothing but an attempt by Quebec to reassert its jurisdiction over here, to use strong-arm tactics, as far as we're concerned, to enforce their law, or to enforce their will on us, and to put the Mohawk people down over here.
The lines on this reservation are clearly drawn between the Mohawk people and the forces from the outside. Further upstream along the St. Lawrence River is the Mohawk Nation at Akwesasne, where the lines are not so clear. Akwesasne encompasses an area of about 15,000 acres and has about 8,000 residents. Like Ganawage, there is an elected form of government and the traditional Longhouse Council, where chiefs are chosen by the clan mothers. The reservation literally straddles the borders of New York State and the provinces of Ontario and Quebec. We met with some warriors in a garage. They claimed that they didn't have enough funding to have a headquarters. Francis Boots is one of the warrior leaders at Akwesasne.
You see, America cannot buy the sacred Mother Earth. You cannot pay us in dollars and cents the value that we put on the sacred Mother Earth. So we are going to reacquire it in different ways.
Like the people of Ganawage, Francis Boots makes a strong case for the sovereignty of Mohawk lands. But unlike Ganawage, the warrior society at Akwesasne has been condemned by the traditional chiefs of the Longhouse. Chief Jake Swamp would argue that the warriors are misguided individuals who have terrorized their own community.
Oh yeah, I experienced gunfire at my house myself. You know, I have first-hand experience about violence against me and my family. I mean, that bullet, if I would have went into the house where it hit, and my wife and daughter were washing dishes at the time, and the officer that investigated said that if it would have penetrated and the bullet kept on going, it was directed right to my wife's head.
The conflict between the traditional chiefs and the warrior society came to a head over the issue of casino gambling. There have been allegations that casinos on the reservation had ties to organized crime and that the warriors were being funded by casino owners.
Yeah. They're all together. The warriors and the pro-gambling people are one, because they help one another.
The warriors do not support gambling the way it was done, the way it started. We support the possibility of an economic development project that may include gambling, just like the idea that Governor Cuomo has in developing casinos around the Niagara area. It is a viable industry if it's regulated and if it's beneficial to the people of the Mohawk Nation.
What about the casino gambling that was taking place here? There's allegations that there was connections with organized crime.
There is a lot of effort to try to tie the Warriors in with that. The media has really attempted to criminalize us.
There are reports that the Warriors have a large arsenal of weapons. The guns in this photograph were confiscated from the Warriors by Mohawk police.
It's true that the Warriors possess guns, but it isn't to any number or to any extent that they've been rumored to.
And it's true that some of the Warriors were on the payroll of casinos, right?
Individuals were gainfully employed in casinos, yeah.
What kind of work were they doing for them?
Well, they are employment there. They might be involved within the casino operations itself or as security or whatever. Just like they are today gainfully employed as security for the customs or the carpenters. It was an opportunity to have an income at home. And it is not just the Warriors. It is a vast majority of the Mohawk community here in Akwesasne, even a great number of the people who are now waving the banner of anti-Warriors were very involved with that.
The Warriors are just bad news all the way around. They're into smuggling, drugs, running weapons. You name it, they're into it.
In March of 1990, people who were opposed to the Warriors and the casinos took action by erecting roadblocks on the main highway that cut through the reservation. Tourists were not allowed past the roadblocks. In effect, the gambling opponents shut the casinos down, succeeding where the FBI and the state police had failed. Jake Swamp claims that the traditional chiefs took a neutral stand, although they visited the people who were manning the roadblocks.
I was there really to observe and also to keep our people from becoming violent because of what has been done to them. They tried very hard to follow that direction of nonviolence, and they managed to go all the way through without becoming violent.
Mike Francis was one of the people who helped to man the roadblocks. He claims that Warriors threw firebombs at the anti-gambling forces, and that when he tried to kick the firebombs away, snipers shot at him and one of his brothers.
I heard that night we got sniped at, me and my other brother. Very good possibility that my younger brother was doing the snipering at me and my other brother.
How does that make you feel?
Terrible, knowing that he was out there higher than a kite, you know, with his other buddies, snipering at his own people, his own brother. And one of my other brothers mentioned it to him, and his words were, well, he shouldn't have been there.
Night after night there was a terror, there was shootings. There was a lot of shootings. It was not just Warriors.
This video was taken by Mike Francis with his home video camera as pro-gambling forces fired on one of the blockades, determined to drive the protesters out.
Me and another guy were about the last ones to leave. We stopped because they started flanking us from the left flank and then the right, and we could see them throwing their gas bombs out at our blockade there we had, and they're burning everything. And I started putting the camera up to film them as they were doing that. Then all of a sudden rounds started hitting the side of my station wagon, and we just jumped in. We hauled ass out of there.
It was a spontaneous community movement to eventually take down the barricades on Highway 37. And it wasn't a lot of gunfire. It was not. It's true that you see on TV a very bizarre footage, but it's very, very short, and they keep playing it over and over again. And the fact is, that cannot be said that that was a warrior's procedure or way to do things. It wasn't that at all. It was community people who were very angered, who were hurt, whose cars had been damaged, and it isn't the warriors.
It wasn't
The
the
warrior people were involved, but it was not just warriors. There were community people who did that.
After the anti-gambling, anti-warrior forces had been forced to flee, their bunkers were destroyed. The Mohawk police station was attacked, and over 2,500 people were evacuated from the reservation. Some men that stayed behind to protect their homes were engaged in nightly gun battles. On May 1st, after warriors retreated from an area on the Canadian side of the reservation, 2 Mohawk men were found dead near the river road. Some Mohawks blamed the warriors for both deaths.
Were warriors involved in the deaths of Matthew Pike and Harold Edwards?
I would say they weren't, but I wasn't there. And I'm hoping that there will be a comprehensive investigation to bring to justice those people who caused those deaths.
Following the deaths of the 2 men, state police from New York and provincial police from Canada occupied the reservation to enforce order. 1 year after the violent conflict, this is how the situation stands. Nobody has been brought to justice for the killings. The police still maintain a presence. 2 bingo halls continue to operate, and the casinos remain closed. The writing on the wall is evidence that there are still deep divisions within the community.
How do you think this can be resolved? Do you have any ideas about how this can be resolved?
One, warriors have to go. No doubt about it. They put their weapons away and let the community heal its wounds. Maybe we can have something to go on. 2, the casinos got to stay out, stay closed. I used to like to go to bingo. I will not step a foot in it now, because that's where it started. Bingo, smuggling, build up your money, casinos.
I think our reaction to the problems that we face today is one of those times that try our people in how much of their beliefs in their culture are they going to abandon in order to make place for the new.
For his part, Francis Boots believes that the warriors have a valid place in the Iroquois tradition.
We are the tradition. We are tomorrow. We are the bearers of that tradition into tomorrow.